Hey, what's happening, y'all? Welcome back to the Media Goose channel. It's your friend Ryan, the Media Goose, and the goose is loose, baby. And I am here tonight to talk to you about night one of WrestleMania 42. That wasn't great. I'm a really positive person and I try to be positive in my reviews, but that did not feel like a night of WrestleMania, if I'm being honest. It was pretty underwhelming. One of the biggest problems, a lot of these matches were really short, less than 8 or 9 minutes in a lot of the cases. The Vision and the Usos opened the night with a little over 7 minutes. While it was crisp and had a little pace to it, there wasn't a lot going on. Um, I'll go match by match. I was going to go through all the times quick, but I'll illustrate the problem throughout the review. So the Vision and the Usos, like I said, it was fine. It was very much like a Monday Night Raw match. And afterwards, Logan Paul attacked Speed. The baby faces sided with Speed, and they helped him put Logan Paul through the table. So we're building to Speed and Logan Paul, I guess. Okay, that's fine. I got my prediction right that the baby faces won, but wasn't very inspired by what they did overall. And that was a 7 minute match, very much like that could have opened a Monday Night Raw more than WrestleMania. Second match of the night, one of the better two matches of the night, I would say. Jacob Fatu and Drew McIntyre. They both had great entrance attire, and that was probably the best thing of night one was the entrances and the attires and costumes. Um, this match was solid. They brought out the toolbox. I really like Drew selling like he had PTSD from the CM Punk Hell in a Cell match. That was smart. Um, this just didn't really go to like a next level. It was like a B plus kind of match. Solid. Drew had a great over the top rope dive. He live streamed and tweeted during the match again. That got a big pop. Um, they both kicked out of each other's finishers. Ultimately, a moonsault through the table ends up winning it. Right person wins. I was 2 for 2 at this point, and I thought it was solid. This was a fun match overall. I thought that it maybe could have went crazier. No blood was pretty surprising for that one. Then we had the women's tag where the surprise of the night was Paige's return. That was awesome. So she replaced Nikki Bella, who couldn't get medically cleared in time. And that was probably the biggest pop of the night, potentially. Well, there's one later in the night, but this match, how long did they give this match? They got 8.5 minutes. And a symptom with the shorter matches, everything felt rushed. There wasn't a natural flow to it. It was rushing through a list of spots. In the women's tag, they like isolated Brie so that they built up the tension to the hot tag for Paige. There was a good Paige and Charlotte stare down. There was a lot of good stuff here. I just wish they had like 4 to 5 more minutes to really turn this thing up to an even higher level. But seeing Paige get a championship in her return was really cool. Michael Cole pointed out that she got a title in her debut and she got a title in her return now. I'm a big Paige fan. If I made a top 10 list of my favorite women's wrestlers, she'd definitely be on there. So that was really cool to see her back. But again, a match shortchanged with a shorter runtime. And then Becky and AJ. And this having the Wonder Years there, that was cool. But they got 8 minutes. And they did a lot of good stuff. I liked AJ's manhandle slam. They exchanged doing each other's stuff. But again, 8 minutes. They did what they could with the time, but it just didn't. This whole card felt like wrestling was the thing not being prioritized. And both of these two are good. A lot of the exchanges were fun. It was just a really short match. 8 minutes, and Becky ends up There's a spot with Jessica Carr where they finally push each other. Then Becky ends up finally getting the ref distracted, removing the turnbuckle, and gets the win over AJ, getting the Intercontinental title. I take it to mean that AJ isn't sticking around then. So Becky being champion again makes sense to me. I just wish this was like a stipulation match that got like 13 to 15 minutes, because that's what these two deserve. And then we had Gunther and Seth. I said it could probably be match of the weekend, and it was arguably match of the night. I would say it probably was. I think I liked this a little more than Jacob and Drew. Started off really hot. They had like a long exchange before the bell even rang because Gunther attacked. And that's what happened, right? Yeah. Buckle bomb. There was a lot of big lariats. It was definitely a stiff match. They both kicked out of each other's finishers. It was solid. It was 15 minutes long. Even this one could have went a little longer, but they did well with what they got. And the big surprise here was Braun Breaker returning. And it makes sense to me. The ref was checking on Gunther, who had just been stomped on the announce table. And while he was distracted, Breaker came in, hit the spear, threw him in the ring. Gunther goes in, puts him in the sleeper, and as right before the sleeper was in, Seth was like staring down Breaker. I think, didn't they do that? That's what Punk did. No, Seth did to Punk, right? No, Punk did to Seth, where Seth got put in the STF and passed out. No, it was Seth who stomped Punk, and then Cena put Punk in the STF. So, anyway, Gunther ends up winning. That's what I anticipated happening. That was my prediction. And Heyman's there to hug Braun Breaker. And Heyman was nowhere to be seen earlier in the night. So I'm wondering if what's the deal here? Is it the whole happy vision? Or are Breaker and Heyman about to break off on their own and do their own thing, separate of the vision? Seth proclaimed taking out the vision is the goal. So do they have to be a united front for him to do that? I don't know. I think it leaves it open because Heyman wasn't out there when the opening match with the Vision happened. So still unclear on that front. But this was a really solid match. I think they could go even further, honestly, if these two like main evented normal PLE where it was like 4 or 5 matches and they all get like 20 minutes. It would be really great. Liv Morgan and Stephanie Vaquer, they got 6 minutes and 51 seconds. I hate that. And again, this kind of felt like a Raw match. Like, they traded doing each other's stuff. But then it was just the Judgment Day getting involved, distractions on both sides, advantage. Very uninspired, in my opinion, especially for the talent level of these two women. I was hoping for like a 20-minute banger from these two. It was the best built match. I was really hoping for that out of these two. I was hoping for like a Charlotte Rhea kind of classic, and they got less than 7 minutes. That's gross. I hate that. And then Cody and Randy closed the night going 23 minutes. They do Pat and Jelly Roll before the match. And then at the end, Pat comes back out with the ref shirt on. The match was boring. My stream was giving me issues, so I'll go back and watch it again. But the match was pretty boring, in my opinion. I was not having fun, really, watching it. I said how they needed to have a good match to save the feud, and they did not. And they did the thing. It was more like storytelling, but Cody just did Randy's moves and mannerisms and kicked him in the balls. How many times are we going to do this story with Cody? Like, oh my God, look at him going far enough. Like, he hasn't continued to do this. This isn't new character development. He did this against Kevin Owens. He did this against John Cena. And now he did it against Randy. It's always, I don't know if he can do it. And then he does it every single time. I don't like Pat and the Randy thing, but I don't know that this was the right call. I mean, Pat's gone apparently. Now it's wrestling. They can just waive that anytime they'd like to, frankly, and bring him back. But part of me does wonder, is this... I'm probably overthinking it. This would be like if the TKO WWE drama was real. Maybe this was Triple H and Cody's way of going, hey, let's get Pat out of this, and then we can go back, and y'all can have maybe they'll have like a better match at Backlash or something. But that main event reeked of WrestleMania 27, which is one of the worst WrestleManias ever. Maybe Randy's hurt, and that's why they were like talking about that on commentary, about how Randy, there was like word around the locker room that day that Randy had back issues, and they sold that when Pat left before the match. Like, this isn't good for Randy. If he's not 100%, he needed Pat there. So maybe Randy's hurt, and that's why they had to do this. But then they just punted. Why couldn't we have him punt Cody and win the title? Punt him with the ref bump. I don't know. I don't know what's next. I was hoping for... I don't know what I was hoping for, honestly. The video packages, they showed a Randy Orton promo that I don't think they showed on SmackDown with him and Wade that was really good. The video they showed, like, as the video package before the match was good, made it look better than it has been week to week. But I don't know what's next. Are we just going to continue with Randy and Cody now? Because that's what it looks like. Once again, are we building to a Backlash match? I guess not, because I kept saying Pat and Randy were going to fight Jelly and Cody, but Pat's out apparently, unless he did something with the contract on Friday night. So we'll see what happens next. Again, I thought that main event was pretty uninspired. I did not have a lot of fun. It was just Cody doing Randy's mannerisms and moveset and doing the same old, I don't know if Cody has the dark side. He does it every single time. Crazy. So all of these matches are short, but Jacob, Drew, Gunther, Seth, and Cody, Randy all got ample time. Cody and Randy could have been cut a lot. All of the entrances were very long. There was so much commercial time. The way I was watching, the commercials were just like a "we'll be right back," and it was like 2.5 minutes, and those were happening all of the time. It was ridiculous. This kind of felt like a Saturday night's main event, but stretched out to the WrestleMania scope. What a disappointing night one of WrestleMania. Match of the night, I guess, was Gunther and Seth, but even that didn't go quite to the level that I thought it was capable of. Liv and Stephanie only getting 7 minutes is a crime. It's gross. And even Jacob Drew, which I enjoyed, it didn't really live up to unsanctioned. Kind of just felt like a no DQ match you would see on a SmackDown, and not even the main event of SmackDown. That was a pretty lackluster night one. Let me know what you thought, if I'm off base, if you thought any of these matches were better than I'm saying. I think, like, in a vacuum, they were all fine and good enough. But for WrestleMania, I don't find fine and good enough to be the bar that I am setting. That doesn't live up. This felt like a bloated Saturday night's main event more than WrestleMania Night 1. And it wasn't Pat McAfee's fault. So, y'all, let me know what you thought of Night 1 of WrestleMania. I hope Night 2 is better than this, because if not, this will not go down as a WrestleMania to remember. They're going to put it in the rear view mirror quickly and want us to forget. Thank you guys for hanging out. The Goose is out. It's late. I don't want to do it too loud.